Guys. Wonderful. Welcome, welcome. It is another Monday night. And what does that mean?
It's hashtag TFR Motivation Monday.
We are so excited to have all you guys hopping on here live. We've got a special guest presenters for you guys and lots of amazing information. But first, let's run through our information that we normally share with you because we have so much stuff coming up here. First of all, if you're not able to be on here live, that's okay. We love you too. And we've got you covered. So where can they go to see this recording?
They can go anywhere. Well, they can't go anywhere, but we do have you covered. You can go to the Team Freedom Reigns page. Where can they go?
Okay, YouTube channel.
We've
got the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel. We've also got Freedom Reigns SoundCloud for the Monday night calls. So you can go there and you can subscribe so that you get notified every time that we upload new training or new call, new information, motivation to help you build your LifeVantage business. So moving forward here, we want to make sure that you guys know everything that's coming along and that you're celebrating yourselves on the process because it's all about the journey. It's not the end result that you have to stay focused on. It is the journey. So let's start celebrating a little bit more with all of the different things that are happening in the team. On Team Freedom Reigns, you can go and check out all of the different ways that we can celebrate each other. Weekly, you can celebrate Sensational Saturdays. This is for your big and small things that happen during the week. Go and cheer each other on. Let us know what's going on. And hey, even if you need some lifting up, we can do that there too. But congratulations to our August rank advancements and also the August enroller leaderboards. Go and shout each other out.
Seriously.
Okay, talk about Elite Academy, please.
Well, first, before I talk about Elite Academy, I want you guys to see what just happened.
So we're a little frazzled.
Is the difference between how men's brains work and maybe how men's brains don't work and how women's brains do work. When you put somebody on the spot, the assumption is that I was thinking what she was thinking, and I'm thinking about puppies. Because we've had 6 puppies in our house today. So sorry about that. It's really nice when that happens live. But let's talk about Elite Academy, not how I'm mentally out of it thinking about puppies. So Elite Academy is coming in Long Beach, 2 weeks. We've got a special announcement. Well, without an announcement, anything. We've got a special product that we're releasing called Super 7. And if you have not heard about it, you definitely need it because you've been living under a rock somewhere because this is big. It's probably the biggest announcement we've ever made as a company because when we unveiled our company offering, and which Patti and Greg, our guests today, were way back then. They were there too. It was already there. It was the only thing we had. But this is big. This is a big deal. The third entrance into the Pro Tandem family, and you need to be in Long Beach to see it unveiled because we're going to get it there. We're going to start using it there, and you can't use it on a video if you're not there, so you need to be there.
Yeah, seriously. And by the way, guys, our little faux pas on this call just show you that anybody can do this business.
We're all humans up in here.
Anybody can rise to whatever level of leadership that you want to rise to. It's just a matter of making the decision and doing it. But you have to be part of the system, and this system includes Elite Academies. So if you're not pre-registered, the cost is $149 now. Make sure that you go and pre-register today. Make that commitment to yourself and the growth of your business and the commitment to your future team. What you do today is what your future team will do. So make sure you're questioning every action that you do. Not to mention it's the only place that you can get all of the special announcements. And actually on this next slide, it says Super 7. But what I want to do is I want to share something else with you guys. If I can find it here. Oh no, it didn't. It disappeared. All right. Well, I was going to share with you guys a fun video that Sean Poe has done about Super 7, but I'll put that up on the Team Freedom Reigns Facebook page. I'll see if I can share it from his page to our page so you guys can all see it. But this is the thing, guys. If you're not there, you're not going to know the excitement, and you're not going to be able to take advantage of the full launch if you don't start getting excited today. So start sharing with your customers, start sharing with your distributors that maybe haven't been active, that don't know that this is coming. Start making those phone calls now so that you can have them just as excited as you should be about the launch of this amazing new activator product that's part of the Pro Tandem family. So just go do it, right?
Just go do it.
Do it.
Yep.
So the next thing that we need to talk about is Cancun.
Cancun, the Elite Academy, the first destination Elite Academy we've had as a company in LifeVantage in Cancun, Moon Palace. You just have to be there. It's an all-inclusive resort. They've got a couple different ways you can pay to go, but you need to be there because this is, number one, being at anything and participating in any of the first in LifeVantage is going to be something just of history, something of great stories that you can share. But when this kind of an event happens, a 5-star resort with amazing people and at a beautiful location, and some amazing training. You put all that together and it's just going to be a wow experience. So you got to be there too.
Yeah, and right now the special or the promotion for September is help 3 of your personally enrolled distributors hit that rank of Pro 3 in the month of September, and you're going to get an additional 300 points towards earning your full trip paid for. Okay, so that's a big deal. 300 points, where the first tier is only 3,000 guys, and many of you are approaching that level already. So just think what an additional 300 points would do for you. So go make some more Pro 3s. Go have some baby Pro 3s. We just had puppies, so go have some baby Pro 3s. So guys, we are so excited. I'm going to start the intro here, and Dondi's going to finish it with some of their bio. But this couple, oh my gosh, I love them so much. They're just like my brother and sister. From another mother, of course, but I love Greg and Patti Palka. They are so dear to me, and just part of my heart belongs to them because they are in 100% with everything that they do. They lead with their hearts, and they're always trying to better themselves, improve themselves so that they can be more for other people. And they always want to make sure that people know why it's such a big deal to be part of LifeVantage in itself, but also having your own home-based business, the benefits of that. So do you want to share a little bit more about Greg and Patti?
Yeah, not only are they the fun-loving couple in the group anytime you get a chance to be around these guys, but let me just share a little bit of their background. I've got their bio here, and I've just highlighted some amazing things. And I'm glad they sent me this because I didn't really know some of these details. I knew some of the superficial ones, but when I understand the intricacies of this, it just makes me love them all the more. But Patti grew up in Nashville, moved to Colorado when she was 16, where she started her first, I would say, dive into the direct sales network marketing industry at 16 years old with Avon. Did that for a few years. Then by the time she was 21, she was married, had 2 kids, Jason and Katie, and had 5 years in this direct selling business. Then she started in real estate after that, after being a cosmetologist. For 2 decades, had an office in Remax where she owned her own brokerage and just crushed it out there. And let's see, throughout her professional life, she was involved in numerous direct sales companies and marks her time as an Amway distributor one of the most impactful personal development and life-changing experiences in her life. And I think LifeVantage just added the frosting to the cake on that. So an interesting side note I didn't know is that she got involved, and especially in the success of it, by following Tyler and Marcel and their last 3 companies before joining LifeVantage. Now, Greg, I got to read this because there's a lot of details here. He's a native of Denver, joined the Army and was selected to attend the United States Military Academy at West Point. Thank you, Greg. Thank you for your service. Upon graduation, he commissioned in the field artillery and began a 20-year career in the Army. He served and commanded in numerous divisions and major Army commands, finishing his career as a director for concepts and advanced systems in the United States Army Strategic Command. Well, that was a mouthful. Where he worked special technology projects for under the Secretary of Defense for advanced system and concepts.
Wow.
That's like top security.
Yeah, it's like big deal stuff.
Wow.
That's why you're so cool.
Seriously. Okay, his awards and decorations include Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star, Air Medal, Meritorious Service Medal, and numerous commendations and achievement medals. He's a veteran of the Cold War, both Gulf Wars, numerous programs and projects in Europe, Central America, and Africa. Here we get into the LifeVantage story. Upon retirement, he owned his own very successful wealth management firm for 10 years, where he specialized in wealth preservation and distribution strategies. And then he says here he stumbled reluctantly into network marketing. I think he was groomed specifically for network marketing, especially what he's going to talk about with his beautiful wife, Patti, tonight. And Greg is the father of 8 kids. I had no idea. No freaking idea.
I know, 8 kids.
And the thing that I love most about reading this is when they got together, they were in separate relationships, got together in LifeVantage in 2009, individually, worked with each other, had a deep respect for each other, both went to the elite ranks. And as they said here, where was that? It was awesome how it was then they decided to take merges and acquisitions to a new level and got married in July of 2012.
It's so awesome.
So, and this is the thing where Patti, I had no idea about this. She was already an empty nester and jumped into the nest with Greg with kids in elementary school, junior high, and high school. That's kind of eerily familiar to this, except it was the other way around. So Patti, I have a huge respect for you, and Marcy, I have a huge respect for you, because you guys empty nesters jumping in the nest with a bonehead like me. I can't say the same about Greg because Greg's amazing, but I am just so blessed. We are so blessed to bring on this phenomenal couple, and I want to now get very serious because, and I don't want to make light of this, but I wanted to. There are no better professionals. And I hate my unprofessionalism to be able to introduce this to these professionals than we have here with Greg and Patti Palka, especially about what they're going to talk about tonight. Because the tax benefits of owning a home-based business is something that I would imagine 95% of you, including Marcy and I, do not understand the full details of this. So I hope you're ready to take notes, because there isn't anybody better in our among our elite ranks at this company than this couple right here. So Patti and Greg, would you please join us and share with us your wisdom and just your mastery of this.
And just everything.
Thank you so much. And I just have to say, Dondi, when you read, Greg's bio, I've often said, and it embarrasses him, but when I fell in love with his brain first, because he's got an amazing brain, but he thinks so differently, and he really thinks outside of the box. And so that was something that I was really attracted to. And as you said, we each had our separate businesses. We actually partnered, and we're business partners in LifeVantage, and hit the elite ranks as business partners, and then got married in July of 2012. And sometimes I laugh and say, if you see a little halo or something over here, it was just, Marcy probably can relate. Yeah. So, but being a stepmom is not easy, and so it has lots of joys, but it has had some struggles as well. And we've got our kids now range from age 17, she's a senior in high school, all the way up to our oldest daughter, Living, will be 37 in October. And some of you may have followed our story. We lost our eldest son, Jason, and Dondi and Marcy were so amazing. They were there to support us when that happened a year ago in July down in Tucson. And I just cannot tell you guys how impactful the support of this LifeVantage family was in that experience. And so we're here to tell you, you want to dig the well before you're thirsty. You never know what is coming around the pike. And so we are so grateful and so thankful that we had built our business to a point where we took 5-6 months off and really didn't do much of anything during that time, but yet our income actually went up. And then this July, my mom moved in with us. So now we have my mom, and we created a basement apartment for her. It's not like a basement, though. It's very beautiful. She even has her own washer and dryer. So she's very happy. So we're happy to have that. And I did work with Greg some at his financial practice. I had my insurance license as well. But he's much more of the expert in that. And so he's going to go over some of those things. And then there's a couple of things that I'm probably going to just add a couple of thoughts to. But
and we just thank you, Dondi and Marcy, for allowing us to be on the call with you guys and your team. Our hearts are with the Nettles. I'm telling you, these are some of the most, if not the most dynamic power couples in LifeVantage. We've known them forever, and we can't, there are no words to ever explain how much it meant to us to have them wrap their arms around us when we were in the darkness of our son's death. And you know what power players they are, you guys. So they not only talk the talk, they walk the walk, you guys. It's all about love and servant leadership for them. So thank you for allowing us to be on there. A couple of things that they asked us to talk about was the benefits from a business standpoint, which I don't think a lot of people, when they enter into network marketing, they think, oh, well, I don't know whether this is going to work, but it truly is, a $200 billion industry globally, worldwide. You are a small business owner. When you sign that agreement, when you sign up as a distributor, you're actually signing a 1099 agreement that you're an independent contractor, which means that you own your own business. Now, it doesn't mean that you're incorporated at that point, but you're what's known as a sole proprietor. 100% of the income that LifeVantage pays to you is treated at the beginning as ordinary income. It's 100% taxable to you unless you do the things that we're going to talk about tonight, which is just take a little bit of steps with software or in a ledger or something where you can save receipts and do some stuff so that it's not 100% taxable. There's tax deductions, exclusions, and exemptions that you can take as a business as long as you just document it a little bit and just have some receipts. And it's not hard, and it's incredibly beneficial. I think by the time you're a Pro 5, Pro 6, for sure, maybe even some Pro 4s, if you've got really high volume, you should think about incorporating either as an S corporation or as an LLC. We've taught on this before. We are an LLC. We
tax as an S corp.
Tax as an S corp because it's different from incorporation. So you can be a sole proprietor, an S corp, an LLC, or a C corp. That's the structure. That's actually how the government looks at you when you file. Now you can file on a tax basis either as an S corp or as a C corp, and that's a whole nother conversation with your tax professionals and your financial advisors. But real quick disclaimer, I gave up my licensing as a federal fiduciary several years ago because of our success in LifeVantage, and so this is all we do full time. So anything that I say to you now is my personal opinion. It's not financial advice. So please talk to your professionals, CPAs, your tax professionals, your financial, lawyers, estate planning attorneys. Disclaimer, because I don't want you guys to. I did this for 10 years and I really loved it, and I think I was pretty successful. We were doing very, very well. We helped a lot of people. But a couple of things from a tax standpoint. So most people don't understand that when you get a check from LifeVantage, 100% of that is looked at by the government as ordinary income. So if you have another job, it adds to the amount of money that you make as ordinary income for your personal income taxes, unless you do some things like this. Now, one of the things that what we call the Tax Cuts and Job Act, it was just passed about a year ago, the TCJA. It added it was one of the first times in history that we reduced corporate taxes. So the highest tax structure for corporations was 35%. It was reduced to 21%. But for companies that are S corporations or LLCs, you actually get a 20% tax deduction now because you're a business. So it's time to, if you're a Pro 4, Pro 5, Pro 6, I'd start talking to my CPA or my financial advisor or my estate planning attorney or whoever you're seeking financial advice. Say, hey, look, with the TCJA, I get a 20% if I incorporate. I'm not just a sole proprietor anymore. Maybe I go ahead and file what's usually somewhere between 50 and, if you live in California, like $150 filing with the Secretary of State that says, hey, now I'm a business. I'm not just a sole proprietor with my Social Security number on it, but I'm actually going to be a corporation that I apply for what's called an employee identification number, an EIN. Those are free. Please don't pay for those. You can just go to the federal website. You can get an EIN. And now that becomes a new identity. So it used to be that the company was you when you were your Social Security number with LifeVantage. But when you incorporate and you file that EIN number, and LifeVantage, I think, charges $20, $25 to change your name and put an EIN number in. Now there's two of you. There's you, the Social Security number, and if you're still working, you're still going to get your W-2 and your income, and you're going to have to file a 1040 for your personal income. But now you have a company that can take tax deductions, exclusions, and all kinds of things. And so that one first piece is take 20% off the top if you incorporate through the TCJA from the LifeVantage earnings. And then there's I'll give you a half dozen, maybe a dozen other things that you can take as tax deduction and exclusion. And then we want to make sure that you kind of understand how travel is counted under the new TCJA. But everybody's heard of home office. Home office is something that you can deduct. It's a part of your house. It's a part of your establishment. Please talk to your CPA or your tax professional about home office. That's gotten kind of technical. But here's one that's really easy: office supplies, furniture, and equipment. Anytime you buy a computer, an iPad, a telephone, anytime you get tear-off sheets, anytime you do anything that buys office supplies or equipment for your LifeVantage business, keep the receipts, and now that's an exclusion that you say, hey, LifeVantage paid me $1,000 this month, but I had to take 200 of it for office supplies and a new computer or whatever, or I spent $1,000 on a computer. So when people ask me, hey, Greg, I'm making good money now in my thing. If I take this all as personal income, well, I say, hey, look, if you're making $1,000 a month, spend $1,000 on a computer, so that we can take a part of that, almost all of that, as a tax deduction exclusion. It doesn't add to your ordinary income. It's crazy stuff like, buy the big truck, because SUV pickups and vans that are more than 6,000 pounds, which are usually the Yukons and the Sequoias and the big full-size pickup trucks, if you guys are truck people, those are actually depreciable items under the TCJA, and it's under the section 179 of it. But there's amazing tax benefits. So if you're going to have to drive all over the country, you're driving, to do your business, driving an Escalade, and put that in the company, because let the company buy that. Because when we were, as part of, Dondi and Marcy, they were part of the first people that got Jeeps. We were too. We don't own the Jeep. Our company owns the Jeep. So all of our insurance for the Jeep, all of our gas for the Jeep, all of our maintenance for the Jeep, all the tires that go on the Jeep, all the mileage, all goes through the company, because those are all tax deductible and exclusions that we can do. And for furniture, so let's say you want to upgrade the office, even if it's a home office, or maybe you decide, because you're a Pro 6, Pro 7, you go in with some partners in your local community and you go, hey, I've got this team of 5 people, and hey, we're going to put down, $50 a month a piece, and we're going to do a $250 office. That $50 for all of you would be a tax deduction or exclusion, and you can have a professional office where meetings could be held and all the rest of that stuff. Now, these are kind of things that most people don't think about, but software and electronics, items up to $2,500 or less can be expensed in the year that they are purchased. And I think that's up to like $2.5 million. Mileage, of course, anytime you drive your car to and from a training, or to and from a meeting, or to and from the office supply store.
A
presentations. Yeah, you're going to copy. Hey, I've got that one-on-one down at Starbucks. It's the miles to and from. That's 54.5 cents per mile that you can deduct as a part of that. So if you're keeping mileage, it's Patty and I. Oh boy, I'm telling you, because the amount of driving that we do, and all the stuff that we do for the business and stuff. So when we say, okay, well, is it good to fly to St. George, for our trainings and stuff, or can we just drive? Hey, it's actually okay to drive, because we're taking about 55 cents off of it, 54.5. Buying a car, it's interest loans, the interest on your loan, if you're buying it through your company, all depreciable to your business and stuff. Travel and meals. Now this is where Patty really kind of wanted to talk to you about it, because up until Long Beach, when you went to LifeVantage to the Elite Academy, 100% of the Elite Academy at Long Beach was deductible, because you were going there. It was all training. There were no vacation days as a part of that. So for the 3 days that you guys had with LifeVantage stuff going on every day, all 3 of those days, all 3 of the hotel days, all the meals, all the everything were deductible. With Cancun, a little bit more sophisticated. And so why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, so to tie it together with where that came from, we had talked about, there's a software called TaxBot. And Greg and I talked about that at a convention and stuff. And so TaxBot's amazing, because it does keep track of all of your business expenses. You can take pictures of your receipts and upload them in, and then match it to your statement, and it makes it really simple. Sandy Botkin is the man who's the principal owner of TaxBot. And so I actually took a class from him years ago, and the class was so complicated that CPAs could use it for continuing education. But I did it as a realtor. And so it was really interesting, because he talked about travel, and he said, and this part hasn't changed, your travel to an event for educational purposes, your travel days there and back, those days are travel expenses. It used to be you could deduct your meals when you were out of town 100%, but you can't now. You can only deduct 50% of your meals when you're traveling. And so then though, Cancun, just different ways of being promoted. It's like, if you guys are going to Cancun, make sure you're doing business every day that you're there and take notes. So they may say that some of the classes might be optional. Don't let them be optional, because you've ruined your tax deduction, but you've also, messed up your opportunity to learn from some amazing people to build your LifeVantage business. So I'm just a little nervous about how this is being talked about. So it's just to be safe, you want to make sure that you take good notes and you save all of your brochures, your agendas and itineraries and all that kind of stuff, and then you'll probably be good.
Yeah, and so with that, just watch travel, talk to your tax professionals, because the TCJA did change some of that. So just make sure you're dialed in on that, especially if you're a company doing that. But here's one thing that I did want to say to you guys. So I always tell people, look, I'm in network marketing because I went through a horrendous divorce. We've been pretty transparent. Between Patti and I, it was well over $1 million that between business losses and a divorce that I went through for almost 2 years. So there was no way I could start at 45 and dig out of the Grand Canyon of debt that we had, unless there was something like LifeVantage, unless this was the fastest, best way that I can teach people to make leveraged income in the amount of money that you can make on a monthly basis that can truly transform a debt situation or an income situation or a time freedom situation, so you're not working 80 hours a week. I used to make 6 figures, but I was working 60 to 80 hours a week to do that. So I was a high 6-figure guy, but I didn't have any of the time freedom. Well, you start making 6 figures in network marketing and you realize, how crazy was I to keep doing that for 60 to 80 hours a week? So with that said, I want you guys to understand that when you work for a company, let's say you worked for Lowe's or Home Depot or UPS or any of the Fortune 100s, Chick-fil-A, any of the companies that we recognize out there, you become an employee of the company. They offer things like health benefits and retirement plans and dental plans and health insurance and savings and those kinds of savings plans, college scholarships. Well, if you incorporate as an LLC or as an S Corp, or a C Corp, depending on what your professionals say to you, all of those things are available to you as a company. It's just you own the company. You can decide whether you're going to provide college scholarships for you and your family to go back to school for your people that work for your company. You can decide whether you're going to have a retirement plan that is deductible from the company, so that first $1,000 that comes out of LifeVantage, you say, well, I'm going to put $500 into a retirement plan. That's an exclusion. That's no longer personal income that you're taking out of the company because you're seeding a retirement plan. And so retirement contributions to a solo 401k, a solo 401k Roth, a SEP, any of those things, talk to your financial advisors, because with a company, you guys have access to some very, very, very powerful tools so that you're building that financial fortress. We have that residual income. I know we're never leaving LifeVantage. We're always going to continue to build this stuff. But if you start saving away a little bit of this and you start putting away for a rainy day into these solo 401ks, these Roth, these Kehoe plans, what I like, the non-modified endowment contracts, you can take out a life insurance policy called a key man policy through your company, because you're critical to the success of your company. So your company can actually buy a life insurance policy on you because you're so important to the success of the company. And then you can fund that as a retirement plan over the course of 7 years. And then what the really wealthy people do is over the course of 7 years in that non-modified endowment contract, they load the cash up in there, and then they take non-recourse loans that are tax-free forever out of those life insurance premiums. And if something did catastrophic happen, and you can qualify for it, then you have the life insurance policy that's going to take care of taking care of the LifeVantage business. So at Pro 8 as an example, we make, you guys see the income disclosure statement, what kind of money we're making, the Pro 9. So how do we protect from losing that income for our kids and for prosperity? Well, you use things through your company like life insurance or some kind of thing that manages the risk for you both personally as well as a company, because we want that company to stay in perpetuity.
What about health insurance?
Health insurance, absolutely. You can provide yourself either a health tax savings plan, which is for families, I think is up to like $7,500 or $8,000, where prescription medications and eyeglass and dental premiums and those kinds of things, you place it into it. It's in a bank, or a credit union. You can actually save money there. And then when you have a prescription or you have something that needs to be paid for, you can pay out of that tax-free. And that's an exclusion and deduction for your company to see that. So that's very powerful. Health insurance premiums in a lot of cases can be paid for by the company. One thing that companies have or LLCs have from a tax thing is the only thing that a lot of people don't understand is when you work for a company, Social Security is really 15.3%. That's how much taxable. So if you earned $1,000, $130 of that is taxable as Social Security. Or I'm sorry, $150.30 is taxable as Social Security. $153. I apologize. $153. That's
doing the math in his head.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Doing pretty good.
So anyway, so what most people don't understand is the company that you're working for is paying 7.5% of that. And you, the individual, is paying 7.5% of that. So that's why you see that FICA thing on that FICA number that says, hey, we took this much out. Well, believe it or not, your company is also paying that other half of it. So when people ask me, Greg, well, why would I want to be a company? I'm going to have to pay, if I pay myself a salary, which is what we do, we're paying for the other half of Social Security. Yes, you are in the beginning, but when you file your taxes, because the company paid that 7.5%, that's a tax deduction and exclusion to the company. So
and as a sole proprietor, you have to pay the whole thing yourself, and it's not a tax deduction.
Yeah, and it's not a tax deduction. So there's lots of reasons that you should talk to your financial professionals and explore an LLC, which is my favorite vehicle. I think that's the most. A lot of people go S corps because they pass through, but I don't like S corps because you never get the choice of making that a C corporation or filing as a different type of thing. It's always passed through to the person. So, but please talk to it. Telephone charges. Network marketers, hello, this is our life right here. The Apple 11, kind of thing. I'm just saying. So don't be worried if you needed the upgrade for a phone. Let your LifeVantage business pay for your phone. Yeah, because those phone charges, because we're on it all the time, and all the software applications for those apps all through your business. Because if you can go to a bankrate.com, that's a website that people get, you can check out what a business card would be for you to actually own a business card. And what we do is we use a credit union for our business account.
So we have a card with that as well.
And so we have a business card with our business account from our credit union that allows us to use that as a debit card. And we don't use the LifeVantage debit card. We use our own bank's cards to do that. So that's kind of what we do.
And I would just say, since you're on banking, that's one of the biggest things. And this was hammered through in my head, owning a real estate brokerage and being in that industry. But there's something called commingling of funds, and you do not want to do that. It's very hard for you to prove if you were audited, if you are mixing your income from your business in with your personal account. So you want to go ahead and open up a separate account as soon as you start your LifeVantage business. Now, they may not let you call it a business account because they want the tax ID number when you do that, but you can keep a separate personal account at another bank. You just do it someplace else even. And then there's no danger of you commingling. And then when you do start your business and have that EIN number, then you can go in and set it up that way with your bank.
Yeah. And then the last one I want to let you guys know, for those who have families like Patty and I, child labor, you can actually hire your children, and you can pay your children from your business. Now they have to do work, let's see something that everybody loves to do, like inputting into a database all of the new distributors and customers so that you can have an email communication and blog with them. Yeah. So, or typing in Facebook posts, which I don't know how to do anyway, but my kids are like dynamic at that. And so you can hire kids.
Filing, taking out the trash in your office. If you're going to have a home meeting, have your kids clean the house and then pay them. So there's all kinds of creative things you can do.
So you can actually pay them a salary from your business. what we call LifeVantage, whether you're a sole proprietor, whether you're a C Corp, S Corp, LLC, and there's no Social Security or Medicaid tax as long as they're under 17. And there's no unemployment tax that they have to pay if they're under 21. So anybody who has teenagers that they want to groom and cast vision in and say, hey, we're in this together, you guys. Mom and dad are making a run for Pro 8. We're making a run for Pro 9. And oh, by the way, you're going to help us because we're going to pay you to clean the house for us to have a meeting, or you're going to wash the car, so, wash the Jeep so that it always looks good when we're out there. You can actually pay them, and that becomes a tax deduction and exclusion for your company. So it's not 100% personal tax coming in. So those are a couple of ideas, you guys. I hope this was worth it, and we're very excited about what LifeVantage has brought to us, and we have time for
we've kind of covered it.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to?
One thing that if you could clarify, how about subscriptions, personal subscription orders, and whether or not they are a tax deductible event?
Oh boy, that's a great area, and it depends on your tax accountant. And I'll tell you what I personally do. What I do is I know I use a Vitality Stack every month. I know I go through at least one package of Axio and my skincare and all that kind of stuff.
All the products at least once a month.
Right. And so what I do is all of the product purchases that are made for the entire year out of my company, because a lot of those are samples and things like that, I actually take my personal subscription order that I use for personal use, and I do not claim that on my taxes.
Right.
Now, there are some people that say you can because it's required, but what's only required is the 40 PV. So I think that would be probably the safest ground for that deduction.
So I really like the safe ground, because then you're not being auditable. But talk to your tax professional, because the $40 that's required for you to actually get commission, we've heard it both ways. But what I will say is anything that you're not using for personal use, and that you can say, hey, Vitality Stack, Axio, my skincare, whatever on a monthly basis, what you're giving away as samples is actually marketing material. And something that Patti and I do, we support veterans organizations who are guys who are struggling with PTSD. They're doing it, and so we purchase with our company bulk material, bulk Nerf 2, bulk Nerf 1, bulk Axio. And then we make a donation, the tax deductible donation, to these 501c3s of the product to the organizations that are helping these youngsters, through their struggles. So there's several ways that we can take products and make it a tax deduction and exclusion. One is by marketing materials. One is by donating them to a 501c3. And then the third way is just talk to your tax professional. If that personal product is being used, to be audit proof, we just know that
I just don't want to be a bull waving the red flag.
No, because network marketers, it's the IRS. They want you paying taxes on a semi-weekly or monthly basis.
Well, and we have heard that the audit of network marketers is going to go up.
Yeah, because
there's
so much success going on in the industry.
Yeah, so be safe. Be safe.
I'm excited about this. This is a good story, right?
Any other
questions?
So what I'm hearing from this then is that there are so many amazing benefits for building a home-based LifeVantage business. And you've given so many great ideas on them. But first and foremost, they need to talk to their professional CPA or whoever helps them with their taxes.
Exactly.
Right? So whether it goes along with the product, whether it goes along with the mileage, the travel, the food, how about clothing that says LifeVantage on it, advertising, right?
Oh, all the apparel, everything, all your hats that say LifeVantage, stickers, buttons, all that, 100% tax deductible.
It's all marketing.
Yeah.
Yes. So all of it, make note of where you're spending your money and talk to your tax person.
And the one thing that used to be tax deductible that's not now as marketing is you can't take someone golfing and talk business on the course and deduct your golf game. They took that away. However, if you go to what's it called, the 19th green or whatever.
Yes, if you go to the lounge, the clubhouse,
and
and you order food
and a couple beers, then that is
50% of that is tax deductible.
Yeah.
I love it.
But what this means, though, you guys, and what Marcy, I think it's just hitting it spot on. what you guys have is a multi-million-dollar global business. Dondi Nettles, Patti and Greg Palka, we have been blessed and fortunate to be servant leaders in this company for over 10 years now. And I can just tell you, we're multi-million-dollar business owners. And so we have to take specific things or we get crushed in taxes.
Yeah.
But for you who are just starting out, or maybe you're a Pro 3 or that $500 a month, you guys, it's not too early to start thinking about all these things, because once you develop those habits, when you are a global multi-million-dollar business, all those processes and procedures are going to be in place, and those habits have already been developed. And man, you guys are going to be awesome. It'll take care of itself.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
If you see me in Long Beach, you see me down in Cancun, let's you have a question for it. I love talking about this stuff, because I go far as to say every American should own a small business. They are on average giving up somewhere between $400 and $700 of tax savings on an annual basis just having a hobby business, let alone what we have in LifeVantage, which is, no kidding, a real business. I mean, no kidding, real thing. And because I had clients that sold, horseradish tubers on the internet, because it was a business that I could deduct. She had a horseradish plant. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm over. But
that's okay. Wait, but since you opened up and you mentioned Elite Academy, can you please share from your hearts what you would say to somebody that might be on the fence, that has not pre-registered for Long Beach Elite Academy yet? What do you think?
Yes, you have to be there. There's just no reason not to go. You do not understand what you have a hold of until you go and you see the big picture. It's not just a big rah-rah cheerleading type of an event. You will really see the heart of the company. You're going to hear from some amazing people that just recently rank advanced to the elite positions, as well as some of the more seasoned ones, but they're going to let you know what's working and how they're doing things, and you come away just so inspired. But the other thing is the connections you make. I mean, my gosh, so many of our team members have made connections. They trade phone numbers. Now you've got somebody that's going to do third-party validation calls for you, or if you want somebody that's a realtor or a mortgage lender, or a professional athlete. I mean, there's all kinds of people that you get to meet there, and then you expand your connections. And you guys, with the changes the company's made, this is the last one like this. And so with them releasing a brand new Tier 1 Pro Tandem line product, to be able to get it there first, oh my gosh, I think this is going to be the best one ever.
Yeah, and so you guys, all I can say is for anybody who's on the fence, I just want to kind of frame this for you. When I was in the Army for 22 years, the Army pulled us out at certain points in our career and said, you're going to go to school. You're going to go to grad school. You're going to go to professional military education schools. And so when I was a captain and a major and a colonel, all those things, I had to go to all these schools. I didn't get to say to the Army, well, I don't really want to go to that professional training in that school. I'll just skip that and see if I can, still rank advanced to captain, even though I didn't go to my captain's career course. I would never have said that, because that professional training is actually critical to you being successful in the Army. When I was a financial advisor, I had to have a certain amount of continuing education credits besides my licensing. So I studied for months and months and months, spent tens of thousands of dollars to go to school to become a licensed federal fiduciary. But then every 2 years, I had to go to classes throughout those 24 months so that I got professional education that kept me current with the tax law changes, the investment changes, and all those things. And what were those, both of those things? They were professions. So anybody who tells me that they're not coming to Elite Academy tells me that they're really not treating this as a profession. And we are, and you are. You have to believe that, because what we do at Elite Academy is our professional training. It's
Absolutely.
Our professional schooling.
Yes.
It's what we do, you guys. And so I wouldn't miss those. I don't miss the events that we have, locally. There's all kinds of different, but we wouldn't miss them, because this is key to the success. As a professional, to be the leader, the servant leader that we're going to be in LifeVantage.
Think about all the money that people invest into their education that are doctors, surgeons, attorneys.
Yeah.
And the Pro 8s, 9s, and 10s, you guys, are paid more. They're paid a higher, wage every year.
For a lot less work, I'm just saying.
But this is our education. You will not get to those elite ranks without that education. You've got. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want somebody operating on my brain that hadn't been to school to learn how to do it.
Yeah,
right?
and you guys are so blessed because the Nettles have something like this every week. So I'd be on weekly calls. If there's an LVA in your community, I'd be going to LVA. If there's an Elite Academy, I'd be going to Elite Academy. Why? Because that's what professionals do.
Absolutely.
Yes, I love it. Thank you guys so much for being our special guests tonight. I'm going to stop the recording. Don't go anywhere.